that's about it. That's where I'm at. I'm all over social media, so if you want to reach out, please do.
Thanks a lot, Art. We appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate it, Art. Thanks,
Art. Great stuff.
No problem, guys. Thanks a lot.
Take care, man. That's Art Stapleton from the Bergen Record. Tim, you're on Twitter, right?
Yes, I am. I'll be at Real Tim Leonard.
Walt, you on Twitter?
At Walt Fowler.
I'm not on Twitter.
Rob, are you on Twitter?
No.
Of course not. Although, stunningly, you joined Instagram last week. I couldn't believe it.
I did.
I was shocked.
I actually hit the wrong button on my phone.
I was shocked.
I was like, what's this all about? And I hit it, said, would you like this? And then all of a sudden, it my phone updated like 2 weeks ago where I didn't even touch it.
Right.
And I couldn't get it back to where I wanted it. I literally had to figure out how to get it. They wanted my thumbprint on it. And I'm not doing that.
I checked Instagram, and it says Rob Leonard is now following you. And I'm like, well, for him to be following me, he actually has to have an Instagram account. So I looked, and he does. And I'm like, he's joined Instagram. He's joined the gym. He's just, like, all of a sudden, he's listening to me. What's going on here?
Well,
all in the same week.
Let's see if we'll listen
Who's
more.
this guy who looks like my brother, is what Tim's saying to himself.
Hey, I lost 12 pounds. I went to the doctor.
Excellent.
I lost 12 pounds.
Very good.
Anyway, we're going to be back with Tim Leonard. I'm Rob Leonard. Of course, our special co-host today is Walt Fowler. Used to be a News 12 Westchester for 21 years. He was the sports director there. We'll be back right after this.
Do you like professional wrestling?
What?
Sports entertainment?
What?
Well, do I have a show for you?
What?
The Squared Circle, Mondays at 4 p.m.
Oh, yeah!
We talk all things professional wrestling.
Woo!
From the past.
That's hard time.
To the present.
Yes!
So listen up as host Justin Greenberg and Anthony Tartamella bring you The Squared Circle, Mondays at 4 p.m. on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Okay, listen up, class. Beginning in 2017, we will be meeting at a new time, so don't forget.
Forget what?
That The Unforgettables will now be on the air from 9 to 11 p.m. Saturday nights.
Forget about it.
So then you won't forget?
Forget what?
That The Unforgettables will now be on from 9 to 11 p.m. Saturday nights.
Excuse me? I forgot what the class is about.
The Unforgettables, as always, has been about celebrating the great American popular songbook, the vocalists, musicians, and songwriters. We not only play their music, but oftentimes a legendary name or newcomer to the scene will join us for an interview. So don't forget to tune into The Unforgettables every Saturday night at 9 on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Whoa, hey man, I think I'm in the wrong classroom.
Attention all Long Island residents. This is an important message. Please stand by.
You looking to learn more about Long Island?
Do you need to be informed about the current issues Long Island is having?
Do you want to learn more about what Long Island has to offer?
Yeah, you do.
Listen to My Hometown, where our student and community volunteer hosts explore clubs, organizations, businesses, and issues affecting Long Islanders like you and me. Listen for weekly interviews that shed light on the Long Island towns that are making a difference.
Covering Long Island head to toe, every inch, every mile.
Tune in every Thursday afternoon at 4 or Sunday evenings at 10 on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Hey, that's my job.
You snooze, you lose.
.3 WHPC. We are from the press box here every Monday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. talking sports. I'm Rob Leonard. Joining me is award-winning sports writer Tim Leonard, and our special co-host today is Walt Fowler. Walt, you've won some awards, right?
Yeah, a few over the years, a few.
He
three-time Emmy nominee, but never an Emmy winner.
Oh, damn.
But it's nice to get nominated.
You know, he, of course, was the sports...
In the Susan Lucci mode. Remember all those years? She'd be nominated and never won.
Of course, he was a sports director at News 12 Westchester for 21 years. And I just want to have, while I have you on here, and I have my brother on here, because Timmy's a sports writer.
Right.
You know, hates, to be honest, hates TV and radio. You know, even though he's on radio, he's a sports writer.
It's amazing, though, that the blend, now everybody kind of does everything. I mean,
Yeah.
sports writers are all over sports radio and even sports TV now. You know, all the sports network channels have all these talk shows.
SNY with the Daily News guys and all of that.
Exactly.
Well, I was going to ask you, you know, Timmy writes, I've seen him write stories. I've actually sat down next to him while he's written stories, and I'm amazed that these great stories come out. Not that you're a bad writer, but you know,
great
just the fact in 15 minutes he's done with a story or 20 minutes. My question for you is when you put together, you get like 5 minutes basically when you get your report.
It got shorter and as time went on, you know, and just the way the media was changing with coverage of news and sports. And you notice it everywhere. The sports window was getting smaller unless it's on a sports network.
Right.
So now, we were down at like 3 and then 2 minutes.
What do you do? Because you obviously can't get in depth into like a game because you got 3 minutes.
I mean, you could every now and then we would do features, and some of them like I mentioned, got nominated for Emmys. We did some features over the years, which was fun to do. But basically, you have to decide, and ours was comprehensive. We would do a lot of local high school, a lot of local college stuff. On top of that, in our backyard, and owned by the company at the time, which at the time was Cablevision, now Altice, but. Cablevision owned the Giants. Excuse me, I apologize, not the Giants. The Jets. I apologize, John Mara, who's a Westchester resident, by the way.
They don't own the Jets, but they tried to buy it.
No, the Rangers and the Knicks, Madison Square Garden, and their practice facility is in Greenberg. So we were there all the time. Yankee Stadium is not in Westchester, but it was just on the other. It's a 10-minute ride from our studios to the Bronx, and you know there's Yankee fans all over the place. So we would do comprehensive. We would do a lot of the local college and high school stuff, and also mix in the professional stuff as well, local professional stuff, basically.
What's the management side about reducing sports? You would think that, like personally, I want to see the same guy doing the same story. So I come in every day and I say, okay, Walt Fowler's on. I know he's going to have something on this story. It seems that the management has said, well, I get sports anywhere. We don't really need it here.
That's part of it. What it is that, you know, they've done research and focus groups, and they constantly, what do you want to see? What do you want to hear? And weather, in a lot of ways, weather drives the bus. You know, you turn on local news now anywhere, Channel 2, Channel 4, and News 12, wherever. There's what they put weather in every block.
That's right.
That's what. But then on top of that, there's the news. It's an old phrase, but if it bleeds, it leads. You know, with the coverage of news, and then they segment that down with do people want education? Do they want entertainment news? So on and so forth. And in a lot of those, sports does not rank high as far as working for a news station. News drives the bus at News 12. It's not Sports 12. It's News 12. Right. Sports has its place, but news drives the bus.
That's a good point. It's unfortunate because, when we were growing up, there was, Warner Wolf, Len Berman, even Marv Albert did sports back then, and other people, and now I couldn't tell you who's doing them.
You're throwing out names there. There were guys like Jerry Gerard,
Jerry Gerard, loved him at
Corey
Channel 11.
McFerrin was on ABC for a number of years. All those guys.
Scott Clark was there for a long time too.
Yeah, Scott Clark. Yeah.
So. Let's quickly talk about the Yankees. They're playing well. They're quietly owning New York as we speak.
I don't know if quiet's the right word.
It started to get louder.
The way they're hitting,
they're hitting. It's just...
See, now that you mention that phrase, I'm going to have to throw it back to a month or so ago.
What?
When
Rob Leonard said...
You gleefully declared that the Mets own New York before the season started.
That's true, I did.
Gleefully.
And they do because they're on the back page every day.
No.
In the George Steinbrenner world of
they're on the front page today.
Of being on the back page... Guess who's on the back page?
They're on the front page today, too. Do you want them on the front page today?
It depends,
Matt Harvey's on the front page today.
I think that's the analogy you make, especially when Rex Ryan was here. I'm switching back to football for a second, but just to follow up on what you guys are saying, the Jets own the back pages with Rex Ryan, but it was the Giants, and they had a few good seasons, obviously back-to-back AFC championship games. But the Giants, I think, overall, over the length of it, they had more success, on the field in terms of, just quality and staying off the back page and staying out of all that messy stuff. Last year, not a good example, as Art Stapleton just told us. They had their issues with Josh Brown and Odell Beckham and so on and so forth. But just it made me what you just said that about Mets versus Yankees back page. I
said that the Mets would own the town, but I also said the Yankees would be doing much better this year than many people gave them. Everyone said, well, it's a rebuilding year, or don't be disappointed if they are rebuilding. The Yankees are playing. The Yankees are very consistent right now. There's these new guys coming up that are just, are really taking over. It's amazing how. there's really no downtime. Everyone was expecting it, but this has turned out to be so much better.
Well, something they said on ESPN last night that
for Yankee
kind of
fans,
struck me. Kind of struck me last night because they said that the Yankees in some ways are like the Cubs were a couple of years ago, meaning that they're kind of arriving a year ahead of schedule.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And really the big wave of young players haven't even arrived yet. I mean, Aaron Judge, obviously nobody could have ever predicted what he's done in this first month of the season. And the Yankees right now are 20-9, and Gary Sanchez has missed most of the season thus far. So people thought he was going to be the guy that drove the offense, and he has the biceps injury and missed, I don't even know how many games, but probably close to 20 games. He was out for 3 weeks. Yeah. So he's just gotten back a few days ago, but Judge has turned into the guy that's just really getting things done. And when you look, Brett Gardner hadn't done anything for about 3 weeks, but in the last 10 days or so, he's got 5 home runs and 10 RBIs. And Aaron Hicks, another guy who people didn't know what his role was going to be, where he was going to play, he's got 6 home runs and 15 RBIs. So a lot of guys who you didn't necessarily expect big contributions from on offense, especially, and Chase Headley the first couple of weeks, they couldn't get him out. It's been a lot of different guys along the way, and it's not where everybody's hot all at once and they win a bunch of games, but then they lose the next week because nobody's hitting. It's been one after the other, and it's been kind of like a wave in a lot of ways. And combine that with the pitching, and that's what really success for this season was predicated on. Michael Pineda has been outstanding. All right, Luis Severino last night. It was an 18-inning game last night that the Yankees had to finally come back and win after Chapman blew a save in the ninth. But Luis Severino pitched 7 innings and gave up 1 run on 4 hits to what I think is still, even though the Cubs' offense is struggling, I still think they have the best offense in baseball.
Defending World Series champs.
Yeah. So the pitching has been way better than expected.
Okay, we have 2 minutes left. What are we going to finish off with? Anything quickly?
Well, since you brought up the stemmer, I just want to mention, let's go Rangers, see tomorrow night what they can do. They have to win 2 now, win at home and win at Ottawa. I don't think it's an impossible task by any stretch of the imagination.
Considering they should have won a couple of these games.
Yeah, and my buddy actually threw a stat at me last night, my good buddy Mike Diamond. He said to me that the Rangers have led for all but 4 minutes in the entire series.
Yeah, so.
Or they haven't been behind. Ottawa's only led for 4 minutes. They got the 2 overtime wins. And,
right, and that's been the problem. Is the Rangers have been blowing leads in the postseason, and obviously that's going to it's usually something that comes back to bite you in the playoffs. We'll see what happens.
I have a friend of mine who's a diehard Ranger fan. He had a good point. He said when the Rangers lose a home game, that's when I'll worry. And they haven't lost a home game. Mind you, that Game 7 is going to be in Ottawa.
Exactly.
But that is something to think about. With the Rangers. The Rangers have been playing well. As an Islander fan, with the mess the Islanders have become, the Rangers quietly have become a very, very good team.
They have a lot of guys who contribute.
Yeah.
They get contribution from a lot of different guys.
Yeah, you wish that mentality might carry over to the Knicks, but that's a whole other story.
That's a much longer topic.
That's a whole other story.
Let's also not forget this coming Sunday is Mother's Day.
Right.
Let's celebrate with all the moms. And also that same day will be the day that the Yankees retire Derek Jeter's number 2.
How can they retire his number on Mother's Day? Come on.
When they announced it, I was puzzled because it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. It's a bad decision to do that on Mother's Day.
I'm sure Jeter's mother's happy and will be there, but not everyone can go to the game or wanted to go to the game because it's Mother's Day.
Well,
anyway,
not the best decision.
We're done.
Always like hearing when they play, though, in the promo, Bob Shepard doing the Derek Jeter intro.
Number 2.
And he's the last one to announce his name. Thank you, Walt Fowler, for joining us.
A pleasure, Rob. Tim, thank you so much for having me.
Sports director at
Loved
News 12 Westchester for
fun.
21 years. Of course, Tim Leonard, award-winning sports writer. I am not an award-winning sports writer. I don't have any awards, but I am Rob Leonard, and thank you for listening.
Radio legend, Rob
Radio
Leonard.
legend Ed Newlands is coming up with
Radio
Good Gold.
legend, same first letters as Rob Leonard. R-L. There you go.
There you go.
Thanks a lot, everyone, and we'll see you next Monday with more sports right here on WHPC.
The voice of Nassau Community College.
90.3 WHPC.
WHPC HD, Garden City.